Hi guys, welcome back to Codemaster Coach, your medical coding tutor. Guys, I put together a presentation on the index to external cause of injuries. Again, the external cause of injuries. This index is located behind the alphabetic index to disease and injuries. So, let me tell you a little bit about external cause of injury codes. They are assigned as additional codes, not as principal diagnoses. Matter of fact, I recommend you put all of your other diagnoses codes first and then assign your external cause of injury codes. They are assigned as additional codes to indicate how the injury happened, the cause. Also, the intent, unintentional or accidental, or was it intentional, such as a suicide or an assault? The place where the event occurred, the activity of the patient at the time of the event, and then the person's status. Were they civilian? Were they military? Etc. These are your external cause of injury codes. All right, there is no national requirement for mandatory ICD-10-CM external cause code reporting. It is state-based reporting, but providers are encouraged to report external cause codes as they provide valuable data for injury research and evaluation of injury prevention strategies. I can remember working in the emergency room as a coder and coding when four-wheelers first came out and the injuries that patients, little children, 3 and under, were dying on four-wheelers. Because of our coding, this information was tracked and it helped enforce laws for children 3 and under not to be able to ride four-wheelers. 4 things to remember when coding external cause codes. 1, what occurred. 2, place of occurrence. 3, activity of the patient when the injury occurred. And 4, the status of your patient. So let's look at the first one. Number 1, what occurred? If I give you example number 1 and I said it's a motor vehicle accident, there's a driver of the car hit a deer on Interstate 95. How would you code what occurred? Look in your external cause of injuries index and identify a motor vehicle accident with a driver that hit a deer on Interstate 95. Right now, we're just coding what? The motor vehicle accident. Number 2, an all-terrain vehicle driver accident, non-traffic. So locate all-terrain vehicle driver accident. And number 3 is a bicycle accident. The driver of the bicycle was in traffic and had a non-collision accident. How would you code bicycle accident? In this case, the driver in traffic, non-collision. Pause this video, code these 3 examples as I prepare to give you the answers. Number 1, V40.5XXA. Number 2, V86.55XA. And number 3, V18.4XXA. How did you do? Any questions? Comment below or email me at codemastercoach@gmail.com. Next, we will look at number 2, place of occurrence. Place of occurrence. How would we code place of occurrence? All right. Repetition to me is the best way to learn. So again, we're talking about external cause of injury codes. We said that they are assigned as additional codes to indicate how the injury happened, its cause, the intent, unintentional or accidental, intentional such as a suicide or an assault, the place where the event occurred, the activity of the patient at the time of the event, and the person's status. Were they civilian, military, etc.? We said for external cause of injury codes, there is no national requirement for mandatory ICD-10-CM external cause code reporting. It is state-based reporting. But providers are encouraged to report external cause codes as they provide valuable data for injury, research, and evaluation of injury prevention strategies. So remember, we're looking for 4 things. We just covered what occurred, what accident, what was it. Now let's look at place, but we'll also be covering activity and status. So again, place of occurrence. In ICD-10-CM, the Index to External Cause of Injury Index, look up the main term place, place of occurrence. So, looking at our example, I asked you before with the motor vehicle accident where the driver of the car hit a deer on Interstate 95. The place of occurrence for this would be highway. How would we code this place of occurrence? Highway. That's example number 1. Example number 2, where we talked about the all-terrain vehicle driver accident, non-traffic. Let's say that the place of occurrence was a farm field. They were in the farm field on their ATVs. Place of occurrence, farm field. And for example number 3, where it was the bicycle accident driver, traffic non-collision, let's say that the place of occurrence for practice purposes is a football field. How would you code place of occurrence, football field? Pause the video, code those examples, and prepare for your answers. For number 1, the place of occurrence would be Y92.411. Y92.411. For number 2, the place of occurrence would be Y92.73. Y92.73. And number 3, the place of occurrence would be Y92.321. How did you do? Questions, comments, leave them below or email me at codemastercoach@gmail.com. Now let's move on to number 3, activity. Activity of your patient at the time that the injury occurred. Repetition is the best medicine. External cause of injury codes are assigned as additional codes to indicate how the injury happened. Its cause, the intent, unintentional or accidental, intentional, such as suicide or assault, the place where the event occurred, the activity of the patient at the time of the event, and the person's status, were they civilian, military, or etc. There is no national requirement for mandatory ICD-10-CM external cause code reporting. It is state-based reporting, but providers are encouraged to report external cause codes as they provide valuable data for injury research and evaluation of injury prevention strategies. Remember the 4 things we're coding. We've covered what? We've covered place. Now we're going to cover the activity of the patient, and we're going to cover status next. So, looking at activity in your index of ICD-10-CM, Index to External Cause of Injuries, look up the main term activity. Activity. And let's look at these examples again. We said it was a motor vehicle accident. Driver of the car hit a deer on Interstate 95. That's what. The place was the highway. Let's say the activity was driving. Well, driving is not listed under activity, so we're going to go with specified, not elsewhere classified. Again, that activity, the driver of the car was driving. The deer ran out and hit him. So then that specified NEC because it was driving. How would you code that? Example number 2 we said was the all-terrain vehicle driver accident, non-traffic, on a farm field. What if we say this activity is athletics played as a team or group, not elsewhere classified? So this activity is athletics played as a team or group. How would you code this activity? And number 3, with the bicycle accident of the driver that was in traffic non-collision, place of occurrence was the football field. Well, we know the activity is bike riding. How would we code activity bike riding? All right, pause the video, code those activities, And when you're ready for the answers, proceed. For number 1, the activity is Y93.89. Y93.89. Number 2, the activity is Y93.69. Y93.69. And for number 3, the activity is Y93.55. Y93.55. How well did you do? All right. Next, we're going to look at number 4, which was status. Status of your patient. All right. Again, moving on. Repetition. External cause of injury codes are assigned as additional codes to indicate how the injury happened. Cause. Hopefully it's starting to make sense with repetition. This is going to start to make sense. The intent. Was it unintentional or accidental? Or was it intentional, such as a suicide or an assault? What about the place where the event occurred? The activity of the patient at the time of the event and the person's status. Were they civilian, military, or etc.? Remember, these external cause of injury codes, there is no national requirement for mandatory ICD-10-CM external cause code reporting. It is state-based reporting. But providers are encouraged to report external cause codes as they provide valuable data for injury research and evaluation of injury prevention strategies. Remember the 4 things. We've looked at what, we've looked at place, we've looked at activities. Now we're going to look at the patient's status. All right, so in your index to external cause of injuries, look up the main term status. Now, going back to our example, number 1, which was the motor vehicle accident where the driver of the car hit a deer on Interstate 95. That was the what. The place is the highway. The activity we said was driving, but driving is not listed under activity, so we have to go with specified, not elsewhere classified. And the status of this patient, let's say he was a civilian and he was doing something while on the job for income or pay. So look up civilian activity done for income or pay. So the status of this motor vehicle accident driver that hit a deer, he was on the job. He's a civilian, he's not military. He's a civilian, activity done for income or pay. How would you code this example? Number 2 was the all-terrain vehicle driver accident that was non-traffic. We said that the place of occurrence was a farm field and the activity was athletics played as a team or a group. Let's say that the status of this patient was that it was a hobby, not done for income. He was just out doing it for fun on his all-terrain or ATV vehicle, and he had an accident. So the status is a hobby, not done for income. How would you code this patient? And number 3 was the bicycle accident. The driver was in traffic, non-collision. We're going to say the place of occurrence was a football field. The activity was bike riding, but the status was a leisure activity. This person rode their bicycle just for leisure, just for the enjoyment of it. So how would you code status, leisure activity? All right, pause the video while you look up these codes. And when you're ready, let's go to the answers. For number 1, that status would be Y99.0. Y99.0. For number 2, the status would be Y99.8. Y99.8. And for number 3, that status would be Y99.8. Y99.8. Okay, guys? I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thanks. I'll see you in the next one.